Excuse me, dancing person.
Oh, pardon me. Can I offer you a drink? Some Merlot, beer,
Well,
maybe?
to be honest with you, I don't drink anything alcoholic. Perhaps you can make my signature drink for me. It's 7 ounces of Pepsi Clear and 3 seedless Malaysian currants.
Oh,
When I'm in New York, I order it at my favorite club. The bartender makes it for me and has given it an interesting name, the Meg Ryan.
ah, one Meg Ryan, please. They're on it.
To be honest with you, sir, I'm looking for the owner of this establishment.
Ah, here I am.
Well,
What can I help you with?
I don't know if you recognize me. I'm usually around town in a suit, a more tailored look, and not with this jaunty ball cap and my disposable clothing that I wear because I'm never sure how much I'm going to adhere to the surface areas in any location like this. But my name is Oliver Snoot. I
Oh.
own much of the property in this town.
Well, welcome to the crib at the burnt down Memorial Orphanage Hospital, Mr. Snoot.
Well,
Good to
thank
have-
you. Thank you.
to have
I'm enjoying my stay here so far. The reason I'm here is I've happened to find some extra money in a shoebox in my attic, and I'm looking for a place to invest.
Oh.
Would you be interested in several $1,000s to help in the operating expenses of this establishment?
Oh, for sure. I can certainly use that amount. Let me tell you about the place, the history of it, if you will. This is the
Wonderful.
crib nightclub at the burnt down Memorial Orphanage Hospital. We do several themes a night. We have 80s night. We have, of course, on Saturdays, Catterday. We like to call it on Catterday nights. We
Sounds
we
very
have all,
amusing.
yeah, we have all kinds of stuff going on. We do some rentals. We do birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, and we even do live birthings. It's a concept. People don't believe that they can do birthing in a club, but man, I gotta tell you, it is pretty lit, baby. And also, when we don't have a lot of customers in the club, when the hospital gets a little full with patients, we tend to move them up to the club. It gives them a little bit of a cool vibe, and we move them for OSHA purposes. We move them towards the restrooms right over there.
Well, I would imagine if you have a particularly banging soundtrack going on in the background, it could help with arrhythmic heart patients and get their heart rhythms back in line.
For sure, it's called music therapy. I'm kind of maybe on the cutting edge of that, but I'm more specialized in EDM, but that's on another time.
Tell me, the births that you give, are they on tables like this one?
Oh no, we have a slip and slide.
Ah, that's much better.
Yes.
I'm interested in perhaps in acquiring some of the stem cells from those. Is that something that you happen to save, or do you discard them in a place that's easily accessible by an outsider?
I do save them, but my experience as a competitive phlebotomist. By the way, I did indeed was the founder of that league in town.
I've heard that you dabble in other things.
I do. Well, for instance, besides stem cell phlebotomy, I also do cosmetology. I also can do some slight barbering. I learned.
Those things don't interest me at all. What I am interested in is I hear that you have an investigative arm of your business. Now, do you do detective work as well?
I do some light detective work, yes.
Well, let me
It's
tell
very
you what I'm interested in. I've tried in the past to acquire this building, but the Sisters of the Withered Wimple have never been interested in selling.
I hear that.
They're very dedicated to the whole non-profit side of the hospital, and they do not wish to have me involved. However, I would like to find out what are in some of the locked file cabinets that are down in the basement, and I think I could use a good investigator who has an inside edge at the building to access those for me. Is that something that perhaps you can do?
That's funny you ask. Yes, actually, I do have access to that very place. I actually store my supplies for the nightclub down there.
Are they flammable supplies?
Some, mostly it's alcoholic, but you know.
Very interesting.
Huh.
Well, so if I were to give you a sizable no-interest business loan, do you think perhaps you could get into some of those file cabinets and remove some pieces of paper that I have some minor interest in?
That's a possibility, Snoot. It's certainly a possibility. This might inquire more special tastes, such in the paranormal, if you will.
Tell me about that.
Oh, sure. I dabble mostly in the paranormal investigation field, but it's very specialized.
Well, the records I'm looking for from the hospital orphanage fire. Do you think perhaps you could contact any of the spirits related to the orphanage fire?
I could. The catch is, if they're cats,
Oh.
then I can possibly conjure up that information. You see, I'm not only an investigator in the paranormal, but I also am an investigator and cat whisperer to dead felines.
Very interesting. Can you speak to any dead felines?
Yes, I have.
So say for an example, I have a business rival who has a feline that accompanies him to highly secretive business meetings. If that feline were to come to an untimely end, would you be able to contact that feline and find out what went on in those meetings?
Oh, that's almost guaranteed, but I'm sure a very well-respected businessman like Oliver Snoot wouldn't do such a thing.
Oh, no, not personally.
Good. Well, Mr. Snoot, I think you have yourself a deal.
Very, very well. Then I believe this conversation is at an end.
Fine. Toodaloo.
Yes. You can stop dancing anytime.
Yeah.
Hello, Shelter Place. It's me, Angora Snoot, your local fashionista, and I'm here to invite you to my boutique, where I have everything you could possibly need. Outfits to wear while on a date. Something to wear while shopping with Mommy. Unless, of course, Mommy is dead, which mine is. Dresses for when you're arguing with Daddy again. No, Daddy, you can't raise my rent again. And of course, pieces to show that you're the only one in this godforsaken town with any class. So come see me, Angora Snoot, at Angora's boutique. I put the fash in fashion.
Hi, Dad.
Natalie, so nice to see you.
Good to see you too. Dinner looks great.
Well, I had the chef make your favorite, white truffle sloppy joes, just like you like them.
Thank you. How was your day?
Oh, you know, always trouble at City Hall. That Snoot man came in with the craziest idea. He expected that he could just come in and buy the fire department.
Why would someone buy the fire? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, who knows? He's always got these delusions of grandeur. He even went so far as to insult our hyena department heads. It was a very terrible conversation and a waste of my time. I shall never get that time back. But enough of my troubles. How are you, my dear?
Well, I am fine. I stopped at all the businesses down Main Street to collect donations for the hospital. And speaking of Snoots, I went into Angora's shop and she gave a very generous donation. Yeah, we had a really interesting conversation.
Natalie, you know how I feel about you having interesting conversations, especially with such low life as her.
Well, I think she made some interesting points. I mean, she kind of talked about how you've always kept me on a short leash. And
Natalie, you know that's for your benefit. You have a very delicate condition. It already took the life of your mother. You know for a fact that with somebody with kidneys on the outside itis are very likely to perish at a younger age if they're not careful. I'm just trying to do what's best for you.
I know, I don't fault you or anything, Dad, but she said some stuff about how she didn't really have any friends, and that got me thinking about how I don't really have any friends. And
Well, that's nonsense. I'm your friend. Our butler's your friend. He loves you. He says so all the time.
I know, but I mean, isn't it strange that someone my age doesn't have friends her own age? I mean, I guess maybe I could try to be friends with Angora.
Oh, well, I would certainly advise against that. I don't really want you associating with that family. Swedes, the lot of them, and you know those Swedish people with their large foreheads and their belief in poltergeist. Who knows what kind of road they'd put you on if you spent too much time with them. They would corrupt you straight away. Look, if you want friends, I'll find you some friends. I'll buy you the best friends that money can buy, ones that are worthy of you.
Thanks, Dad. It just really got me thinking that, you know, I do lots of things. I go out and I do a lot of charity work, but I don't really do normal 20-year-old stuff. I mean, she mentioned some crib, some nightclub at the hospital, and I had no idea what she was talking about. Not that I want to go there. I just feel kind of sheltered.
Natalie, those places can be very dangerous. I've always thought the country fell apart the second that we ended Prohibition. Look, maybe you just need a new hobby. I just saw a flyer at City Hall today, and the Shelter Place competitive phlebotomy team is having tryouts for new members. Perhaps you should go.
Do you think they'd let me in with my condition?
Well, we'd have to get some helmets for your kidneys, but I'm sure we can have something like that constructed.
Okay, I'll look into it, I guess.
I know it's hard, and I know you feel alone, but that's only because you are so special. You're so much better than everybody else, and unfortunately, when you are as great as you are, Natalie, you are going to feel separated because you truly are a step above these people, but I promise it'll pass.
You're probably right. Thanks, Dad.
Yes. Well, I hate to end this conversation, but I have plenty of paperwork to sign, you know, new committees to form and new dockets to push out. I always enjoy these conversations. Let's do it again tomorrow, shall we?
Sounds great.
Bye,
Bye,
now.
Dad.
The crib. The crib. The crib. The crib. The crib. Come to the crib at Burned Down Memorial Orphanage Hospital.
Why, Maggie McGill, I am so surprised to see you here.
Angora,
Welcome to my shop.
your shop. It's adorable, this little shop. Does anyone actually come into this little shop?
Oh, well, you know how people in this town are. We're the only women of taste, really, but they'll come around.
Yeah, I like how you say we when it's really just me, but you keep on with your little delusions.
Yes, well,
I saw your father wandering around the fire department the other day. Any idea what he's up to?
Why would you want to know about that?
Well, I just like to keep apprised on what's happening in the community. You know.
I see. Well, I mean, you're a smart lady. I think you probably know that Daddy doesn't tell me anything.
Doesn't tell you anything, but sure gives you a lot of his pocketbook money, obviously.
I'm his daughter. He makes sure that I have what I need.
Yes, he does, doesn't he? I'm more interested in what he needs.
Why don't you ask him?
Well, you know, we go back a little ways. It's not that comfortable for me to just directly talk to him. You know that.
Well, I could see what I could find out for a price.
And what is this price?
I'm looking for an investor in my new cat fashion line. I'm sure your prize show cat you have there would be a perfect model for my new feline fashion.
Oh, yes. I'm sure her agent would be very interested. What type of line are we talking about?
The most luxury accessories kitties can buy. I'd be happy to bring you a few samples if you're interested. And while we're talking, maybe you could share with me what kind of information might be in the firehouse.
Well, how about this? You come by tomorrow at 2 with your little trinkets, and I'll decide if they're quality enough for my girl here. And you could also bring some information from your father. Then we'll talk.
Oh, Maggie, these little encounters are always so delightful.
Yes, delightful.
It will be hard to speak to Daddy without him being suspicious, but I will do what I can.
Oh, I am sure you can handle it. You're a smart little thing.
Well, I don't know about that.
Have some confidence, dear. I'll see you tomorrow at 2. Don't be late, but don't be early.
2 o'clock sharp then.